Good morning, everyone. Oh, Sunday morning. It is 7:30 a.m. here in the UK. And that is early for a Sunday morning. I don't know if anybody joined yesterday, but my personal challenge at the moment is running. So I did a rather large run yesterday, and boy, can I feel it today. So rather selfishly, we're going to do a nice, slow, calming, stretchy sequence today for the hips and for the lower back. And I've done this sequence, maybe a similar sequence, when we went live in January. And it went down really well. People loved it. So I thought maybe today is a good day to do it when I'm definitely feeling the need for it. So yeah, hopefully everybody else will quite like it too. We're going to begin today a little bit different. We're going to begin in child's pose. So there's a couple of options for child's pose. You can bring your knees together and your feet together, and you can sit back on the hips and then just walk your hands forwards. You can bring your head, your forehead down towards the mat, down here. Or if you prefer, you can do things like if you've got a pillow or a cushion near you, you can rest down on that instead. Or you can use it as a cushion for your head. Just finding something that works best for you. If you'd like a bit of an extra stretch as well in child's pose, you can take your knees out wider and have your big toes to touch and then sit back on your heels, and it's just going to give you a bit of a stronger stretch through the hips. So just have a little play with it and find somewhere that feels good for you, where you can just take a couple of minutes, bring your awareness inwards and come to connect with the breath. So just as we usually do, just noticing what's around, maybe closing down the eyes. What can you hear? How are you feeling? Just notice it. And then begin to bring your awareness towards your breath. So not changing anything at all, but just notice your breath. Does it feel different beginning this practice in child's pose? And maybe if it feels comfortable for you to do so, just begin to lengthen your inhales and exhales, finding a deeper breath. Maybe inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth or nose. Keeping a hold of this breath now. We're just going to take the hands and we're going to walk them over towards the left. So staying in child's pose, but just walking your hands over towards the left. So you can feel a really nice deep side stretch down the right side of the body. Through that right shoulder, down into the ribs, down through the hip. Keeping a hold of that nice deep breath. Walking the hands back into center just for a moment before we take it over towards the right. Feeling that deep side stretch on the left side of the body now. All through the arm and the shoulder, down through the side of the body, through the ribs. Breathing into the stretch. And then coming back through center. And when you're ready, just begin to walk the hands up, and we're going to meet in tabletop position. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hip points. You can take some gentle cat-cow if you'd like to here, just to wake the body up. But we're only going to be here for a second because we're going to swing the legs around and we're going to come to sit down on the mat. We're going to find some nice gentle stretches this morning. So we're going to take, actually I'm going to come this way so you can see. You can take the legs out long and we're going to find some nice twists first things first. So flex the feet, you want the toes to be pointing up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to bend the right knee, bring the sole of the right foot onto the mat. You can keep your leg here, or if you'd like a little bit more, you can take the right foot over the left leg. And then all we're going to do is take that left, this is where your lefts and your rights get mixed up. You're going to take that left elbow, and we're just going to bring it, wrap it around the right knee. Inhale, sit up really nice and tall through the spine. And then as you exhale, we're just going to twist around to look towards the right. Your right hand can come up alongside you or maybe behind you for a little extra balance. And we're not going to really like pull ourselves around into it. We're just going to find where our bodies naturally twist to. Coming back to that nice deep inhale, exhale. And then coming back through center. If you took your foot over your left leg, just bring it back through into the center. And then we're just going to take the right knee and allow it to drop out towards the ground. Bring the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left leg. So we're kind of, if you've ever done any yoga, we're kind of in that sort of tree pose, a bit of a seated tree pose here. And then we're just going to take opposite arm to opposite leg. So with the right hand, we're going to try and grab the outside edge of the left foot. And the stretch here, the beauty of this pose, is in the reaching for the foot. So we're really not too bothered if we can reach it or not, but actually it's in the reaching that you'll feel that stretch all down the right side. If you do want to be able to grab the foot, just bend slightly through the left knee and take hold of the left foot, and then option to begin to straighten through the left leg as you work into the stretch. Remembering to try and sit up tall rather than collapsing over, trying to keep nice and open through the chest. Breathing into that deep breath. When you're ready, releasing that grip, just letting the foot go, coming back up to sit tall. And then this time we're going to take both hands, we're going to inhale, send them up overhead first. And then as you exhale, we're just going to fold forwards towards that left foot. And same thing applies here. The beauty is in reaching towards the left foot, not actually reaching the left foot. Don't forget, you can bend that left leg as much as you need. And again, we're trying not to collapse over too much. We want to sit up nice and tall. We want a nice long spine through these stretches. And then maybe beginning to straighten through that leg if it feels good for you. Breathing into the stretch. On an inhale, we're going to come all the way back up to seated. Let that foot go. And then we're going to take it onto the other side. So just take that right leg out long. If you'd like to take some of those windscreen wiper legs just for a second, you absolutely can. Just take whatever little wiggles and movements you need to feel comfortable here. And we'll take it onto the other side. So this time we're going to bring the left knee. We're going to bend that left sole of the foot comes onto the mat. We're going to flex through that right foot so the toes are up towards the ceiling. And same again. So if you'd like to take the left foot over the right leg, you absolutely can, or you can stay here. Same thing applies. So we're going to inhale nice and long through the spine, keeping that chin parallel to the ground. We're not sending the nose high. And then when you're ready, we're just going to take that right inner elbow and we're going to bring it around the left knee, finding that gentle twist towards the left here. Maybe bringing the left hand out to the side or behind you, just for a bit extra balance here whilst we twist. Breathing into it, finding where your body just naturally twists to. So if you take that hand off, you don't move anywhere. We're not using it to kind of pull ourselves around into the twist. Breathe into pose. Find what feels most comfortable for you here. Listen to your body, not trying to copy what my pose looks like. And when you're ready, we're going to come back into center. Just going to unravel that leg if you crossed it over. And then we're going to send the left knee out to the side. The sole of the left foot's going to come onto the inside of the right leg for that seated tree. And then same thing again. We're going to try with our left hand now to reach the outside of the right foot. Try not to collapse over. We're thinking nice and long through the spine. So sitting up nice and tall as we reach over. The beauty comes in the reaching. Again, if you'd like to reach, you can bend through the right knee and just bring that foot a little bit closer and then begin to straighten through the leg if you prefer. Breathing, coming back to that breath always whenever we're in what can be a more intense pose. And just learning to trust ourselves. Letting it go when you're ready, coming back up to seated. And then as you inhale, we're going to take the arms up overhead, stretch really tall here, and then we're going to fold over that right leg. Maybe bending through the right knee if you prefer. But just learning to trust in your practice, learning to trust in how something feels, and that we all have different bodies and different anatomies, and that's not a reflection of who we are as people. Putting the ego to one side and just taking some nice gentle movement that prioritizes you, because that's the good thing. We're not trying to shoehorn ourselves into pretzels and handstands because we want to look like the yoga girls on Instagram. Maybe you do. There's a place for that, but it's not with my practice. Really nice, everyone. When you're ready, just coming back up to seated as you inhale. But send both legs out long. And again, if you'd like to take some of those gentle windscreen wiper legs, absolutely do so. We're just going to bend the knees and bring the soles of the feet together. And again, absolutely just honoring where your body is. So that could be here. That could be all the way in. That's really not comfortable for me. But just finding somewhere that feels good for you this morning. We're going to take hold of the feet and kind of like you would like open a book and go to read it. We're going to do the same with the feet. So just bringing the thumbs to the arches of the feet, to that middle part of the feet. And then as you do so, we're just going to inhale nice and long. And as you exhale, we're going to fold forwards over the feet. We're not staying for very long. We're going to inhale, come back up, nice and long through the spine. Exhale, fold it forwards. And it's an intense one, this one. So again, just honoring your own body and where it is. Exhale, bringing everything down. Inhale to stay up. And then this time we'll fold over for a little bit longer. So as you exhale, come down. You're going to stay here for a couple of rounds of breath. So you might find that your elbows kind of press your knees out. That could be comfortable for you, maybe not. Play with it. See if it feels good or not. Just breathing into the stretch. When you've had enough, coming back up through center. Sending just the feet just out, just bringing the soles of the feet down to the mat. And then we're going to find a yogi squat this morning. It's a really nice one for the hips, but it is quite an intense one for the hips. So it's definitely one to really listen to yourself. Just allow yourself to be guided by what feels best and what doesn't. One way to get there from here is to just bring the hands out behind you, kind of walk your feet in and then press yourself up. As you do, just transferring the arms out in front of you. And you can find you're in this kind of froggy pose, this kind of squat pose. I'm just going to turn and face you so that you can see me demonstrate. So for a lot of people, we might have the heels raised here. You can find a book, or if you have a yoga block or something like that, you can place that under your feet, or maybe rolling up a towel or something and just place it under there. Some people's squat is here, which is absolutely fine. Like, find somewhere that feels good for you and just honor it. You can walk your hands out as much as you need. So you could be kind of here. This could be your squat. That's fine. Wherever you are, two options. You can find some nice gentle movement, maybe moving through the sole of the foot all the way from the heel to the toe on each foot as you transfer from left to right. Opening through the hips as you do so, thinking nice and long through the spine. Or there is the option to find some stillness here. So you can come to stillness with the arms out in front, or you can find the hands together in prayer at heart center, and you can use those elbows to press the knees. Couldn't think of the word then. To press your knees out a little bit wider. Thinking nice and long, you're being pulled up by that puppet string through the crown of the head. Wherever you are, just breathe into the stretch that you've found here. And the more you do the pose, just for a couple of minutes a day, the more you might find you get a little bit more movement there. Or maybe not, but either way, just honoring wherever the pose takes you. When you've had enough, bringing the hands forwards. We're going to bring one leg behind us, followed by the other. Just a tabletop, just purely for transition. So while we're here, again, if you'd like to take any of those cat-cows or any gentle movement through the wrists, go for it. Everybody else, if you'd like to swing the legs around, we're going to finish today in a little seat, just finding your version, something that feels good for you to just take a couple of minutes for yourself. Also the option, of course, if you would prefer to end today in Shavasana, in that final resting pose lying down, find whichever version you'd like to find to end today. I'm going to come to stack one foot in front of the other, letting my knees drop down towards the mat. Just going to place my hands in the lap, close down the eyes. Begin to allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm, letting that deeper breath that just carried us through those couple of minutes, just letting it go. If you're in Shavasana, just allowing everything to grow really heavy, feeling like you're melting down into the mat. Acknowledging showing up for yourself, taking this time to breathe and move, observing ourselves as we move through the practice. Maybe feeling grateful for our bodies and that we're able to move this morning. And just thanking yourself in your own way. And I will leave you there. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, guys. If you have extra time to be able to stay in that seated kind of meditation space, if you'd like to, absolutely go for it. Or if you're in that kind of Shavasana, take as much time as you have this morning. Give it to yourself, you deserve it. But yes, thank you so much for joining me.